Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Hard Hat Highlights, where Jason and I kind of reminisce either about something that's happened in our personal life or during the work week, and then Jason scoured the internet for the most trending and interesting headlines and topics for us to put our spin on. This show is hosted on our YouTube channel called Glass Guy, GLAZZGUY. We'd love if you subscribe to our channel, like, comment, share. But without further ado, Merry Christmas, Jason Ryback.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too. I love the sweater today.
I love these sweaters.
A little kitty cat action going on.
Yeah, I like the pussy.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. I like your sweater.
Thank you. I don't know that I can say anything as clever about the flamingo. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
The color accentuates your skin.
There you go. It brings out my eyes.
You like Christmas? You get all your Christmas shopping done?
Yeah, for the most part. There's always got to be a straggler, right? It's Christmas Eve. You have to go shopping on Christmas Eve. Like
I did a post this morning today on Christmas Eve that says, all right, guys, time to start thinking about Christmas shopping, because it's just so true. Wait till the last fucking minute.
What about, like, growing up, we always got, there were certain things we always got every year. Like, I remember
staples.
Like, and it wasn't just me. It was everyone in our generation, right? Like,
yes.
You had, like, the Lifesaver storybook, right?
That was in the stocking every year. You just book it.
Right next to the plastic candy cane with the M&Ms in it?
Yes.
Yep.
What else?
Oh, man.
I know I got my grandfather for probably 12 years. He had a box of nonpareils and a fresh bottle of Old Spice.
Oh.
Yeah, that was his go-to, that he'd sprinkle that all over his members-only jacket when we go out for dinner at the local Chinese restaurant, because that was the only thing that was open on Christmas night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And they came swarming over because of the Old Spice, no?
Did you get any gifts over the years that were just like shitty gifts? Or any gifts that maybe stuck out to your memory?
I can't say I had anything that was particularly, like, extremely shitty, but I will say I had an aunt who every year would shop for me and buy me articles of clothing that I would never wear from JCPenney. For some reason, it was JCPenney all the time. Like, I don't know if she just, like, had a credit card there and just, like, I don't know what it was, but every year I got that. And
the sweater with the elbow pads or corduroys, something.
Yeah, you'd open it. Oh, thanks.
Right back under the tree.
Pink's not really my color. Yeah. Close it back under the tree, yeah. But I can tell you, I was probably on the end of one of those worst gifts for a particular person in my life.
Explain.
So I had to be about 24 years old, I would say. And my wife and I were dating. We had just moved in together. And I remember her just mentioning that, oh, we need to get a particular item. So Christmas morning, she comes and opens up the item, opens up her gift to find a handheld vacuum cleaner.
So this was 24 years ago.
Yes, it was.
This wasn't a Dyson.
So it was like a dustbuster, but it had like a agitating wheel on it and a shampooer. So I thought I'm giving her the Cadillac of.
Because you listened to something she mentioned a couple months earlier. Yep. You're like, oh, I'm going to earmark that for Christmas.
Yep.
So that's a type of gift that she might enjoy on any day other than Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
That's fucking hilarious. Does she still have that to this day?
No.
No,
she doesn't.
I was on the receiving end of more of an embarrassing gift that I can recall. And actually, you had something to do with it.
Oh, did I?
It was in the very beginning of the company, so probably 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. We were at an elephant gift swap or whatever.
White elephant
gift swap. And there was a lot of people there. And there was a ton of funny gifts, some gag gifts. But all of a sudden, somebody opened a gift that was a picture frame, which could arguably be the ugliest photo that had ever been taken of me, that you filled this photo with, and everybody was passing around. That was brutal. Now, I did steal that idea, too, by the way, at someone else's party one year. So as much as I hated being at the butt end of that joke, I did enjoy the joke. So respect.
Fun fact, that picture was so ugly. I believe that is the last photo that camera ever took.
Yeah. It's incapacitated after that. But I think there's going to be some people that aren't getting their Christmas gifts this year. Did you see this Amazon driver back in our hometown, Massachusetts, that was feeling a little stressed? Didn't like the workload he had, so he decided to unload a bunch of the gifts into the woods.
Into the woods. Like just fucking leave them in the truck and
quit.
And quit. Yeah.
Quit. Don't take the gifts yeah.
You're taking somebody else paid for. Somebody is relying on to give their family a good Christmas, and you're just, I'm going to send it off in the woods because it makes me feel better because my feelings are hurt.
But what, you actually think you're going to get away with this? With all the technology and stuff they have, they're going to see where the truck stopped. All of a sudden, there's no gifts after that, no packages. I mean, it's not going to be a hard one to solve. I almost think there's maybe some thievery or something going on here.
I will say this. Well, you could be right. Maybe, it's stashed somewhere and they just happen to be caught and said, well, I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
But I will say this. With the rise of e-commerce, it makes... I've never been this close to done. And again, the only reason I have to shop today is just because it's just a nostalgia thing. You have to go out on Christmas Eve, right?
Get something.
But the ease of buying the gifts is amazing. The problems I'm seeing, though, is in the delivery of them.
Oh.
I've seen this throughout the year, which is fine on a regular, everyday basis. But when it comes to Christmas time, just have a little discretion. The other day, I received a package, and it's actually the biggest present I got for my wife this year. And normally, when she goes out shopping, I would give her shit. And I'm actually happy she went out shopping because about 3 minutes before the package arrived, she had left. The package arrived in its original packaging, not in a box or anything, just plopped there. Now, we have a doorbell camera. We have cameras, so you could see what it is. But it got me thinking, okay, so it almost ruined her gift. But think about the kids. Like, it's Christmas time. You're just throwing shit on people's porches with no packaging
whatsoever. And the
whatsoever.
parents are still at work. The kids are at home. The doorbell rings. They know stuff's showing up.
Yeah, well, not only that, but think about maybe the kid sees it and just doesn't say anything. Now the parent wraps it up and it's coming from Santa.
Oh.
Right. So now maybe you're prematurely, ending the dream for these kids.
Amazon, are you saying Jeff Bezos is ruining Christmas? He's playing...
Jeff Bezos is the Grinch.
Oh. Wow. Maybe we can reach out for a comment.
Well, when they deliver, I wonder if they use Google Maps.
I'm sure.
Do you see what happened on Google Maps recently? We always see these different things... Google Maps, the car goes by with the big globe on top of it, and they always catch something weird. Like, I remember years back, there was one in Pennsylvania where these two guys are LARPing. Like,
yeah,
they're just weird stuff they catch.
If I knew one was coming down the street, I would purposefully do something funny. That way I could map where I was, and, all of a sudden you're on Google. I've seen people doing that.
Yeah.
But when those cars are coming. Like, you can see it. It looks like maybe a Volkswagen Beetle with a big, computer coming out of the roof on a pole.
Yeah.
And it's a 360 camera.
Right. Which makes you wonder how this next thing happened. In Tahueco, Spain, there's a couple who was arrested because they were caught on Google Maps disposing of a body, basically.
Which was of a person who was found missing.
It was a missing person, yeah. One of the relatives was receiving weird text messages, alerted authorities, and somehow, I don't know how it got to them finding this on Google Maps. Like, it's still kind of a...
Well, there's a lot of sleuths. I've been watching a lot of murder mystery documentaries, so there's a lot of people using the internet to solve a lot of these cold cases or murders.
Yep.
But also, the fact that it was caught on Google Maps, if you're stuffing a body into a car, I got to imagine you're looking over your shoulder and you're making sure no one's coming. It almost seems like maybe they did this in front of a parked car and they didn't realize maybe it was a Google Maps car and the camera's going, or the car was driving.
Well, it looks like it was in an alley.
It just seems like the timing would have to be unbelievably perfect for the car driving by to catch somebody putting a body into a car.
Do you think that maybe the Google Maps guy went by, caught him, and then said, "Oh shit, I need to alert authorities."
I believe that that's probably what happened, but it just goes to show, and especially for us, we tell our installers and remind ourselves all the time, when we go to a job site, whether it's to measure, to install, to even consult, just assume that you are going to be on camera and you're going to be recorded.
Yeah.
Don't even question, oh, I didn't think there was camera. No, just assume you're on camera 24/7.
We live in a surveillance society. It's definitely the case.
Yes, very surveillance society.
It's so strange. It sounds like something that would happen in Miami.
Yeah. Speaking of Miami, did you see some of these high rises over in Miami that are sinking?
I did see something on that.
Yes, one of the towers in Miami, I believe it's the Porsche
design tower.
Yes,
yeah,
it has sunk over 3 inches from 2016 to 2023. So in the last 7 years, that tower has sunk over 3 inches into the ground.
3 inches?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but 3 inches is a lot. I guess it's a matter of perspective, but to
you would
me,
know.
3 inches is a lot. But can you imagine these buildings just starting to sink more and more? And I had gotten nervous about the high rises ever since that other, what was it, the Surfside?
Yeah, the Champlain Towers in Surfside, yeah.
That one collapsed. That scared the shit out of me. Like, I don't know how anybody around there sleeps in a high rise without thinking about that constantly. And matter of fact, I saw a little conspiracy, just a little footnote here.
Okay.
And I'm not claiming this to be true. I just saw a story on TikTok.
Sounds like you have insider information.
It's not confirmed. It's probably bullshit.
Okay.
But it caught my interest. And it said that the Champlain Towers in Surfside housed computers owned by Jeffrey Epstein, and it alluded that the towers crashing could have been a malicious intent as to destroy evidence or make it so someone else couldn't get it.
So this is like straight up like Oklahoma City bombing conspiracy.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, to each his own. I mean, that is over near where he was at.
Say, stuff's got to be somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of other stuff uncovered here at the beginning of next year.
But to go back to your point, 3 inches for a building to sink over 7 years is actually a lot, really.
I would think so. I mean, we go in houses where a doorway's settling 1/8 of an inch and the glass door isn't rubbing or starts rubbing, and I'm like, shit, that's a lot. 1/8 of an inch. Talk about 3 inches.
Can you imagine with the size of these things if and when they do have to fix this, what type of assessments these homeowners are going to get? I mean, some of them may already be, cashed out on purchasing the place to begin with and maybe paying
or they were
HOA
gifted,
fees,
or
and
they were
things.
gifted the place.
Well,
and,
that's a good point.
They
yeah.
can afford maybe just the property taxes. But I saw there's some stories over there where there's 1 or 2 buildings, maybe in Aventura, where like in the millions. I think one of them had an assessment of $21 million, but nothing that was mandatory. And so a lot of the people that were living in the building are pissed off. I mean, straight pissed off. Because like I said, either they bought it 15 years ago at a multiple of maybe 7 times less than where it's at now, or they were gifted the unit. So now they're getting a 6-figure assessment, and they're like, we can't afford that.
Isn't there like some sort of threshold where they have to vote on it?
Not only there absolutely is. I think there's a mandatory threshold, but I believe there's something in Florida law within the condo associations that says if there's a life safety issue that they don't need
Yep.
Permission, because there's some people that are seasonal are like, well, I'm not there all the time. I don't think we need to do that.
Probably could have used that in Surfside.
Yeah. But think about 3 inches. You got a 50-story high rise, and just the right side of the building drops 3 inches. How much does that move the tower at the top of the building?
Yeah,
I mean,
because it's so much taller than it is wide in footprint, right? So 3 inches at the top could be 30 feet.
We know a 1/4 inch on 3-foot railing what that does. Imagine 3 inches on a 300-foot tall building does.
Oh my God.
I'm definitely not going to be living in a high rise. That scares me.
Well, I'm sure this next person thinks about 3 inches all the time.
Who's that?
Well, someone who could easily afford those assessments after this latest news. The Hawktua girl, Haley Welch, is in the news again.
I love this story. I love it. Not for the reasons why you think, but go ahead.
Did you see this? She's being sued.
Yes.
She's part of a $500 million crypto coin scam.
Yeah.
So apparently they released this, I don't know if it was Huck to a coin or whatever the fuck they call it, but
she was recently on a podcast. Like, so we all know how she got famous.
Right,
She
right.
came out of a bar, hammered, basically talking about spitting on a wiener. And it was clipped up. It wasn't even her piece of content. And literally overnight, this woman became a social media sensation. Then it kind of steamrolled into her own podcast. I think Mark Cuban was on there. But then she had an interview with, not Michael Bay, but somebody that's big in the crypto space, like huge in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And convinced her that she should have, or, was telling her so much about it that she got the hooks and was like, I want to start my own crypto coin. And I guess the firm that she was with had owned a majority of the coin.
yeah, it was like 97% or something, right?
Yes, they used her to promote it. They took on like $500 million in exchange for these crypto coins. And the money, I think, was based in the Cayman Islands, which is a little sus out of the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they crashed it like a day later. They pulled all their they cashed in on all their coins, which is, again, 97% of it, and left everybody kind of with their pants around their ankles. And now I guess she's potentially on the hook for this. I'm not sure because the money's in the Cayman Islands. There's fraud. I don't know how this is going, but the reason why I love the story is nobody knew who the hell this person was before she posted one piece of content. That one piece of content allotted her access to basically do anything she wanted at a much higher level at scale. Now, she chose to do something that obviously was nefarious, but it just goes to show you the power of social media and how many opportunities. I mean, it had to look somewhat legit for them to be able to collect $500 million from people. That's a lot of money.
I will say this, little pro tip. If you don't want to get scammed, maybe don't make financial investments on the advice of someone whose crowning achievement is spitting on wieners.
Yeah. If she don't...
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I mean, you never take advice from someone you wouldn't swap places with. And she's just not someone that I would feel that I should be taking financial advice from.
Agreed.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Speaking of lawsuits, remember we talked a story about Character AI? It was part of the ChatGPT company, and they're being sued by the parents of a teen who killed himself.
Yeah, the AI, they're claiming the AI kind of manipulated him or convinced him it would be a good idea to kill himself.
Yeah, well, it's at it again. There's another lawsuit. There's a highly functioning autistic teen in Texas who was spending a lot of time in his room on his phone, so his parents gave him some screen time limits. And at that point, his chat with the AI bot turned to the bot urging him to kill his parents. One of the most alarming things in there is a quote, and it said, I quote, this is the bot, says, I quote, a daily 6-hour window between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. to use your phone. You know, sometimes I'm not surprised when I read the news and see stuff like child kills parents after a decade of physical and emotional abuse. Stuff like this makes me understand a little bit why it happens. I just have no hope for your parents.
That's so innocuous that, yeah, I see what you're saying. The chat is alluding that you should kill your parents. This is ridiculous. Who would put up with something like this?
It's manipulating.
And we already know how controlling these devices are. And kids get hooked on them.
Kids are vulnerable.
On it. Yeah,
They're vulnerable, and you're manipulating these kids. And the crazy part is, obviously, there's someone behind it initially, right? When it gets programmed. But what else is it learning? And how is it learning it? And what is it teaching? Because if it's shit like this, I have no hope for civilization.
That's scary stuff. Scary stuff. How about the Apple smart locks? They're breaking into some other arenas here where they're developing a smart lock that just requires facial recognition to unlock the front door. That could have some problems, I imagine. You feel comfortable with buying a lock that just scans your eyes?
I do not feel comfortable, period, having any of my biometric information out in the cloud think about it. Look at all of the breaches that have happened just recently. Social security numbers, things like that. You're literally putting I don't want to say your DNA, but it's damn near close to it.
We talked about a story that did that. I think it was the 23andMe where they have everybody's DNA and then they kind of just closed up shop.
Yeah, that gives me pause. I don't even mess with that. I won't even do it on my phone. Sorry. I won't even do it on my phone when you got to use your thumbprint. Won't do it.
I don't blame you. I don't do that either. But we are touching the phone all the time, so who the fuck knows if they're taking that in the first place.
I will say, for the security sense of it, obviously the only person who's getting in the house is you with your...
Assuming no one can crack the computer code or whatever change that.
That's true. That's actually a big problem with any of the smart locks, because if it's connected to the internet, it can be manipulated.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you take a picture with somebody and zoom in on their eyes, and maybe there's a way to, humans aren't going to stop trying to do nefarious things. It's just the means in which they do that will evolve. And of course, there's going to be some problems with this. I'm sure we'll hear about it. I don't think this next story, the homeowner of this next story, had a Apple smart lock.
I bet she wishes she did.
I bet she wishes she had a Smith & Wesson.
Or 2 or 3. Lolitha Hale in Georgia. She found squatters in her home. And what happened next? The police arrested her.
The person that owned the home, not the squatters.
The legal homeowner was arrested for reporting the squatters because they said she trespassed in her own home.
So I think I was reading further in the story. She went in to live with her mother for a little bit or something because she was taking care of her mom. So maybe she moved out of her house. Not moved out, but wasn't home for an extended period of time, maybe a couple months, and had come home to the squatters in her house. And the squatters called the cops. They ended up arresting the woman who actually owns the house. I mean, what would you do in that knee-jerk scenario? Obviously, we know you can't just start screaming and kicking and yelling at the cops because they're maybe doing their job, or are they? Like, who do they report to? If there's policy in Georgia that allows this scenario to happen, which would be egregious to me, but let's say there's policy that allows these squatters, if they're in there for more than a month, you have to go through some legal action to get them out of there. As a police officer, do you follow the policy or do you follow what's right? Like, to actually arrest a woman who owns a house to find basically a looter in her home.
I will tell you this:
I wouldn't arrest. If
I were in that position, I would not arrest the person. I would advise them that we're supposed to arrest you, but I'm not. I'm going to let you go. But just know that this is whatever you voted for. This is what you're getting, and it's crazy what our government is right now. And I don't want to get on a diatribe about that, but to have someone that legally owns a home get arrested for going to their legal place of residence.
Yeah, basically,
it's just asinine.
The squatter has more rights than the owner of the home who's paying the mortgage or has paid the mortgage. I mean, I don't see if we're going to follow law, why can't she go into a home with a weapon and say I'm fearful of my life. This person's not supposed to be here, and shoot and kill that person. That's under the castle law, right? You're allowed to defend your own home. You should be able to shoot and kill that person.
Yeah.
I think that would trump the policy by far.
That would create a interesting firestorm, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I was on that jury, I would exonerate that woman for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just that's a crazy story. Maybe instead of arresting illegal homeowners, they could use some of those drones that are flying around and go flying around looking everywhere for squatting piles of shit.
How about the drones do you see these drones in Orlando doing one of those
my God.
light shows?
That video.
Well, first of all, before we show the video, have you ever seen a drone show?
Yes.
And where?
They had it on here in Bonita for 4th of July.
And how was it?
It was awesome. It was cool.
I saw one once at JetBlue Park, where the Red Sox play. And it was the first time I had ever seen one. There had to be, 500 drones. It was impressive. And they had the music going to it. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
But this story in Orlando, I'm curious to get your take on it. So this family goes up to see a drone show. I don't know where was that at Disney?
It was more than it was at Lake Eola. It's that little lake and park, or like right in downtown. They got like a band shell on there. You see it on TV all the time. Orlando.
Okay.
Yep.
And so the drones are flying around, and then all of a sudden they're malfunctioning?
Yeah, I guess a couple ran into one another, and it kind of threw things off, and they just literally just started raining down from the sky.
I saw it. They showed a little kid got hit with one, and like maybe cut up his face. A couple other people got injured from these things. Because the actual drone, it's not real heavy, but let's say it's 3 pounds, 4 pounds. Falling from 300 feet, that's going to do some damage.
I wonder what speed if 300 feet is enough for it to hit terminal velocity.
Like when they used to say if you drop a quarter off the top of the Empire State Building, it would go through the hood of a car.
Right.
Well, I don't think it reached terminal velocity because this kid, had a cut on his face. It wasn't like it ripped his face off.
Yeah.
How would you feel about this? First of all, are you I wouldn't be underneath the drones anyway, or if I was.
Yeah, but how do you control it? How do you know where they're going?
It's so new that we should expect something. Like, think about it. Have you ever seen anybody hit with a firework? Of course.
Yep.
You start lighting them off in the garage, a bottle tips over, somebody always gets injured.
Yep.
Now, obviously, this type of injury could be a lot worse, but you almost kind of have to expect stuff like this to happen, which leads me to believe why I would be very apprehensive about getting one of those drone vehicles that we were talking about in the last episode going from Naples to Miami.
Yeah.
Like, what caused these drones to just malfunction and fall out of the sky? Was somebody shooting a laser pointer at it, or they jammed up the signal, or it was a battery, or, a electrical surge? What caused this?
I'll tell you what. They're not only a hazard down below, but they're a hazard for up above. I was with Doug one day. We were flying up to Orlando in a drone. I shit you not, was within 30 feet of the plane. Like,
you're shitting me.
I swear to God, we see the little red light. It was nuts. Like, so think about that. You've got all these planes coming in and out of.
You got one prop on that plane. What if it hits that and cause? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
That a $200 drone takes the plane down?
Yeah, someone was trying to get cool pictures and they took down a plane.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. But that video, we got to show that because they're everywhere and they're down, they're bouncing off concession trucks. It's just nuts. But elsewhere, concession stands are making headlines these days.
I saw this, the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, yeah, the owner, Matt Ishbia.
Ishbia?
I believe that's how you say it.
Aisha.
I'm probably wrong. It could be Aisha.
Remember that song?
I do. Do you know who it was?
I don't. Was that Aisha? Crisscross? No.
No, ABC. Another Bad Creation.
Another Bad Creation. Aisha.
Anyhow, the owner of the Suns has instituted a $2 value menu to ensure fans and families can enjoy the games without financial strain.
I love this.
It's beautiful.
I wonder how good this is going to turn out for the company.
Well, you got to think that they're probably actually making more money now because of that. Because they're maybe people that were priced out before, they're showing up and they can afford to get a hot dog and a soda for the kid, and now they can still buy a souvenir. Right?
It's like the Sam Walton theory. We're not going to sell 50 $10,000 items. We're going to sell $1 million $2 items.
Yeah.
So they're going to just get a lot more volume. Okay, I like that for a majority of the people that want to go to the ball game, but say I can't go to the basketball game, can't eat or drink. It's cost me $75 to buy a ticket, and it's another $200 to get a snack and drinks.
You're lucky if you're paying $75 for a ticket.
Well, you know what I mean. The prices are just so inflated.
Yeah.
So $2. I can't wait to see how this. So did he just establish this season?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna have to follow this story. I love it. I even believe the. Well, did you want to break down some of the concessions?
Well,
at the
I was going to say
Bucks?
just to kind of give you an idea. Like I was a season ticket holder for the Tampa Bay Bucks for several years, and I saw what the prices were, and I didn't realize they were actually the second most expensive sports team in all of America for concession pricing.
Was the Bucks?
The Bucks.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
They're making the Bucks.
So just to give you an idea, like for two 16-ounce beers, $24.
Fuck.
If you want two 20-ounce sodas, you're talking $11. That's not too bad, but it's up there.
It's crazy.
But a hot dog's going to cost you $7
Cost
for
you
a freaking 15-cent hot dog.
It costs you a fortune to buy poison.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing that you just said is healthy on there. And not only that, they're taking all your money. So they're taking your health and your money. So at least with the $2 value meal, you might be losing your health, but at least you still retain some of your money.
Yeah. I guess you can't take it with you either, though.
I believe the Savannah Bananas at their home stadium in Georgia has adopted something. Everything they do is kind of new and trendy.
Have you been to? You haven't been to them?
No, but I watch a lot of it on my social media.
So we
feed.
actually, they're coming to town in February. We just got tickets from. And
Where are they playing?
It's amazing. So they're playing at JetBlue Park.
Where my shower door is finally got its own logo on the green monster.
So we'll actually be in the outfield during the Savannah Bananas.
Dollar Bill is actually trying to see if he can finagle us an interview with the owner of the Savannah Bananas, which they don't do a lot of media coverage. If you notice, they do things completely different.
Completely. That's where I was going to go with this.
Which I like.
To get the tickets themselves, you have to go onto their website and you sign up, and then they do like a lottery, and they say, okay, you have between this time and this time you can purchase tickets. But the best part is the tickets, they start at $35 and they go up to the most expensive is $100. And the $100 is a VIP with like a pregame meet and greet and all this stuff. It's great for families. And on top of it, there are no fees. So $35, that's what you're paying.
I love that. And if you go to their home stadium in Georgia, I believe the ticket, only at the home stadium, the ticket prices also include unlimited concessions. It's all you can eat. It's all you can eat. And he said it was, I saw a story on this. He said it was kind of a struggle at first, and they kind of made some changes and moved around, but they ended up finding out that most people, when they'd go there, they would get what they wanted, but they wouldn't get any more than that.
Right.
And it ended up working, and people love it. And they're drawing a pretty big crowd everywhere they go. I actually think there are talks about starting their own league. And they're going to adopt some different rules than regular baseball. Like,
yeah, they do. They have different rules.
Like if a fan catches a foul ball, it could be an out. Like they're getting the fans more involved in the game, which I think is really cool.
It's really cool. Especially, you've got MLB changing rules, but they're changing it so it's like so far away from the way the game was intended to begin with. So why not have the fun side of it where the fans can get involved?
I agree.
With all these lower prices, it's going to leave plenty of money for dad to enjoy the game, so much so that maybe you gotta teach your 10-year-old how to drive you home.
Yeah, just open the door and feel for the curb.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get my Christmas shopping done. Now that I no longer have to pay the Tampa concession prices, I can afford the vacuum of her dreams.
Hope that vacuum sucks. But thank you for joining us on this very special Christmas Eve edition of Hard Hat Highlights. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be an amazing present to us if you did. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. But until next time.
See you then.